everyone. This is Barbara Howard, and welcome to my podcast. Today is February the 24th, 2021, and this is episode number 8. So my audiobooks are still sitting in the quality assurance process over there at Audible, and that would be A Day for the Animals, the children's book, and the first book in the series of Finding Home. That's the Final Harvest book. So they're still in process, and I'm hoping that by the end of this month, we'll have them completed. But I'll keep you updated on that. Since I don't have audiobooks out there yet, what I did is I went to YouTube and my Facebook page, and I added the first 5 chapters of Final Harvest. I just simply sat down and read them and recorded them. So if you want to listen to me reading, that's where you'll find it. On my YouTube channel, I have a playlist over there marked as book reading. And then on my Facebook page, I have playlists as well. So if you want to listen, that's the first 5 chapters anyway. So it's a start. But like I said, I'm hoping that the audiobooks will be completed soon and available on Audible, iTunes, and on the Amazon websites. So there. I'm going to be, I'm featured over at Glittering Fox. Their blog is featuring a lot of independent authors, and I absolutely love their logo design and everything about their site, and I'm learning about different authors there, and they were gracious enough to include a feature about me. So shout out and a big hearty thank you to the folks over there, glitteringfox.com. Let's see what else is going on. I'm starting a book tour, a virtual book tour in March, and that's right around the corner. March 24th, that's my grandmother's birthday if she were still living. And I'm going to be going to 18 different blogs, and I'll keep you updated on that. You can find out everything over there on my website at barbarahowardmedia.com, and you can find links to all my social media accounts over there as well. So please follow me. Let's see. I was answering a few questions about the characters in my stories and how they were created and so forth. And one of the things that I mentioned was I started out with a character in mind, but of course they evolve as you put them in different areas of conflict throughout the story and the plot moves along. Sometimes the character turns out to be someone totally different. So I am not Tracy, but there are bits and pieces of her life that I can relate to. And as I mentioned in another episode, I find that more and more people are contacting me to say that's the case for them as well, that they can either relate to something that she's going through or something that she's feeling. And I've had several people tell me there were points in the story where they actually cried. Not that it's a sad story, but it just touched them in a special way. And every time they tell me that, it makes me cry. It makes me cry too. I love when people meet Tracy and embrace her and can find themselves somewhere in the story. So I'll say this. There are bits and pieces of me in the story. I am a quilter. And so in Final Harvest, there's a mention of a quilt in the attic. Also, all of the different vegetables and so forth on the farm that's mentioned in Final Harvest are my favorites that I like to grow in my garden. So they're all listed in there. And also the street names and some of the names of the businesses came from my genealogy research. Some of my ancestors I found in different rural communities and counties in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, and Ohio, and all around this region. And as I mapped out where they lived back in the 1800s, I found different names of streets or roads or highways or things like that, and I incorporated some of them in the story. So that's me. I'm in there, bits and pieces of my life. But there are moments when I was writing book 1, 2, and 3 that I felt very close to Tracy or one of the other characters in the story. And I believe most authors do find moments where you get emotionally wrapped up in the story, where you're moved by a scene that you're writing or dialogue that you're trying to capture all of the emotion of the incident or the moment and putting the words on paper. So one if you've read the story in Final Harvest, one moment is when Tracy has just had all of the emotional support and foundation just stripped out from under her feet, and she steps out of the window of her bedroom and sits on the roof, and the narrator states, it was time to say goodbye. That was a moment in Final Harvest where I thought, I'm feeling this. There have been a lot of different moments of goodbye that I could feel in that moment in Final Harvest. In Charlotte's Revenge, there was a moment where Milo said, I'll always fight for you. And I literally cried when I wrote that because, again, there were moments in my life that I could feel that kind of rush up out of the memories and come onto the page. And in the last book of the series, Milo's Journey, there's a portion at near the end where Tracy is sitting and reminiscing about her time working on the farm at Bent Willow and desiring to go back to that moment where she just had her hands in the soil and just breathing in the air and didn't have to think about all of what she was going through in that moment, and her family as well. And I could feel all that emotion when I was writing that portion. So even though Tracy's life is not my life, and everyone is fictitious. Every character is a fictional character. There's no one that I took out of my life and put on the page. However, I will say there is one character named Josh in book 1 and 2 that I could say I have family members on every side of my family that could probably relate to him as an outdoorsman. And so I'll just say that. But otherwise, there's no one that I took out of my life and put into the pages. But having said that, there are moments when I was writing the series that it did touch me emotionally to actually describe what the characters were going through. And so when I hear back from a reader that they got to a certain point and either the foreshadowing or the moment or the action grabbed them or made them cry or made them totally, get absorbed into the mood of the story, it makes a big difference to any author to know that what you're trying to convey actually jumped off the pages and into the hearts and minds of the readers. And so saying all this to say, I really am grateful and thankful for your feedback and everyone who has taken the time to reach out to me. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to say something that's kind of unrelated, but kind of is related to what I just said, where I can see myself. I could see myself in some of the scenes with Tracy. I could see myself in some of the scenes with Milo. But there was a conversation I was having this week about being a child and when did you know you were going to be a writer? And I could see myself looking back. I can see the writer in me in grade school. And the short answer whenever I'm asked that question is, oh, I was a child and I wrote a story, and it was about a garden, a plant, a flower, a geranium that killed the gardener, which was ridiculous. But that was the story that I wrote based on the prompt that the teacher gave us. And I was a young kid in grade school. But there was another moment where a different teacher said, describe your two hands. Take out your pencils and your notebooks and describe both of your hands. And so I did. And I wrote that my right hand was more outgoing. My right hand enjoyed meeting people and shaking hands and waving. My right hand did all of the work and was strong and enjoyed, taking care of things and lifting things and all of this stuff, and how my right hand was very, extroverted and this, that, and the other. However, my left hand was very shy. My left hand liked to hide in my pocket, and my left hand would let my right hand do all of the work. But my left hand also liked to wear jewelry and rings and be fancy, but shy. And so I was describing my right hand and my left hand. So I turned my paper in, and my teacher looked at it, and I can remember to this day. Now, this was decades ago, but I remember the look on her face that was like she was so totally puzzled by this story, this description, this essay, this what is this? She had no clue how to respond. She just looked at me like, what is this? And I looked at her like, this is my right hand and my left hand. You told me to describe my hands. This is who they are. Well, what she wanted, of course, was for me to actually describe what they looked like. I guess. It was not what she was looking for. Well, that's what she got, right? That's what she got. And my right hand and my left hand, as far as I was concerned, had personalities and traits and habits. And so there you go. So she nodded and she, accepted it, and she could see my point of view after a moment of, okay, this is different. She didn't shoot me down with it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel like she didn't accept my work, but she definitely wasn't expecting that. So looking back on my life, I can see me as a writer. I can see me as an author. I can see myself in that little girl so long ago. And I'm thankful for her. All right, so I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for listening. Again, you can reach out to me through all the social media platforms. I'm out there. I don't do TikTok, y'all, but I do have a TikTok account. But otherwise, you can reach out to me through all the social media accounts that I have, and you can find those at barbarahowardmedia.com. All right, love you guys. I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye.